Okay, let's look at the homework 1.2-2.1, number 18. Right? So we have an equation given, and we're trying to see if this describes y as a function of x. Right? So first thing we do is try to solve this equation for y. Try to isolate y. So let's do that. Right? So the equation was 3x plus y squared is equal to, right, what was it? I forgot. 15. Right, so 15. Right, so let's try to isolate y. First, I'm going to try to put this 3x on the other side. So we can simply subtract 3x from both sides. That way, 3x is canceled out. So you just have y squared, which is going to be equal to 15 minus 3x. Alright, then we have to get rid of square roots, so you can, squares. So we take the square root of both sides, so you get y, right? But every time you take the square root, you have to make sure that you consider the positive one and the negative one. So plus or minus square root of 15 minus 3x. Alright, so you can see that we ended up with two different formulas. Alright, so therefore it's not going to be a function because, for example, if you try something like let's see, x equals 2. So let's try x equals 2. Right? Then y is going to be, so there are two cases here. Y is going to be equal to positive square root of 15 minus 3 times 2, which is going to be positive square root of 15 minus 6 would be 9. So it's going to be positive 3. Right? And also, you have y equals negative square root of the same thing. So it's a 15 minus 3 times 2. That's going to be negative square root of 9, which is going to be negative 3. Right? So you can see that x equals 2 has two different corresponding y values. So therefore, this is not a function. Right? So let's go back and see if we can get that. Right? So it's going to be, does the equation specify a function with the independent variable x? So answer is no. Right? Let's check the answer. Right? Got that. Alright, so let's see, based on your answer above, provide either the domain of the function or value of x which there corresponds more than one value. Okay, so counter example, right? X equals 5, so let's try that. Right, x equals 5 does not work because 15 minus 3 times 5 is going to be 15 minus 15, so it's at 0. So plus or minus 0 is actually both 0, so that counterexample does not work. Right, and how about let's say domain? It's not a function, so we can't find a domain. X equals 8 is going to be a problem too, because if you plug in x equals 8, 3 times 8 is 24, so 15 minus 24 is going to be a negative value. We cannot have a square root of negative value since that's not a real number, so we can't use that as a counterexample, right? But x equals 0 would work out because when x equals 0, just like we did x equals 2, when x equals 0, you can see that the y is going to be positive square root of 15 minus 3 times 0, which is going to be positive square root of 15. And another one is the negative version, negative square root of 15 minus 3 times 0. Yeah, obviously, this is going to give you negative square root of 15. Right? So therefore, that would be a good counterexample. So I would choose this guy and check. Right? Got that correct. Right? That's it. I hope that this was clear.